Hey everybody, Dr. Diane, your libido doc here, talking about sex toys and the basics of sex toys today. This is going to be a really informative type of conversation and just a friendly reminder of something I say across this channel, which is sex toys are not just for pleasure. Like, of course they are for pleasure, right? That's one of the best things they're for, but they're really also for medicine. I strongly believe that all women especially should have sex toys because we see that it can help with reduction of pelvic pain. It can help with circulation. It can help get feeling back if there's numbness. And especially as women age and there can be atrophy of things like the vagina and the clitoris, where the muscles and the tissues in these areas start to shrink and they lose their function. Well, vibrators are essential for that. And there's research also that is showing that vibrators are helpful for men and even can help with symptoms of prostate cancer, for example. So lots of reasons to have sex toys in your paraphernalia, just beyond even fun, right? So let's get started. So we're breaking down some of the basics. And so when we're talking about the basics, I want to talk to you about various ways of thinking about how some of these different toys function. The other thing I want to remind people of is making sure that when we're getting sex toys, it's really important to buy things that are 100% silicone or glass, making sure that we're not buying sex toys that have a lot of plastics in them, right? Because we don't want those plastics to break down in our sensitive areas, because we see that certain chemicals in plastics are endocrine disruptors. They can disrupt our hormonal system. So we want to make sure we're staying away from things that are going to disrupt our hormones. So the material that we're using to choose from is really very, very important. Silicone and glass also can be cleaned very easily. So as far as keeping sex toys clean and making sure there's no bacteria that's being exposed to our genitals, this is also really important. And the third thing is lube. So in the show notes, we'll put a link to my lube guide. In the lube guide, you'll find that it will tell you certain things around use this type of lube with this type of sex or this type of sex toy. You want to make sure for toys that are silicone, that you're really not using a silicone-based lube. Using a silicone lube with a silicone toy has actually been shown to break down the silicone on the toy. So one of my favorite lubes, you want to use typically a water-based lube, works really well with silicone toys. And this is one of my favorite water-based lubes. So this one is Good Clean Love, almost naked personal lubricant, and it's water-based. It has aloe in it. So aloe is really smooth and it's organic. It's 95% organic. So you're not putting chemicals and toxins in your skin, on your skin, which is so porous. And a lot of these toxins, remember, disrupt our hormones. We want to stay away from them. So making sure you're using a good water-based lube is essential. Now, a few different things. So I'm going to start small and I'm going to work up. So one of the first things you can start with here. So this is from the company Plus One. Plus One is amazing. Plus One has done such a good job at getting themselves in Walgreens and Walmart and major stores. So they're really making sex toys affordable and accessible. So this is if you've not used any sort of vibrator before, this is called a bullet. A bullet is super nice. One, it's super travelable, right? So it's in this super stealth bag, it wraps down to here. So really, really travelable. But this particular toy is really nice because if you are new to this, you can start just getting a sense of the vibration that you want, of, how this feels. You can use this on, moving it on different areas of your labia, your inner and outer labia, on your clitoral head. And you can actually even use this even for muscular massage. So I could use it on my shoulders, right? Or if I have pressure points on my neck, you can even actually use this for massage. So it's very, very, very versatile. Another thing that I like about this one is so many women have a hard time climaxing with vaginal sex. And there's theories about why this is. I talk about this on other areas of the channel, but one theory is that vaginal sex, as far as being able to climax, is related to the distance of how far the clitoral head is from the opening of the vagina. And depending upon exactly where we place the measuring tool, it's estimated that in women, which is very common, if that clitoral head is more than 2.5 centimeters away from that vaginal opening, it's very difficult to achieve orgasm. So one of the things that can help is cupping this. It's really nice for, partner play, because you can cup this in your hand, or your partner can cup this in their hand, and they can actually place this on your clitoris while you are having other types of intimate sex, right? So you can essentially combine this with other things very, very easy. So it's a good starter tool because of that. So the next thing I want to introduce you to, so this one here, this is the Sun Days Pulse Vibe from Fun Factory. What I like about Fun Factory is their research around the different types of pulsing. So we have 3 different types of receptors in our skin that are all designed to experience touch in different ways. So stretch receptors, thumping receptors, pleasure, pulsing receptors, etc. So we have different ways that we can stimulate our skin. And especially if people are feeling like, oh, they're maybe numb in certain areas or they don't have as much pleasure in certain areas, the more we can get the skin activated to experience different types of sensation that the nerves are designed to experience, the more we can wake up the tissue. That's also going to help with blood flow as well. So this is a really, really good one because it is scientifically designed to use the types of pressure or the types of vibration or the types of pulsation and stimulation to make sure we're not getting at just one type of the nerve that is at the skin, but the 3 major types of nerves that are at the skin that are designed to really take in that pleasure and that touch and those feelings. So I really like this for just kind of waking up the tissue. It can be used internally and externally. And then this one. So this is the MysteryVibes. MysteryVibe is the company. It's the Crescendo 2 by MysteryVibe. And so this one I love because this is one of the MysteryVibe's a really cool company. They have gotten several of their vibrators FDA approved as medical devices because of the research they're doing to reduce pelvic pain. So like this one, for example, was shown that 3 times a week use for 12 weeks had a 5x reduction in pelvic pain. And why is that, right? This is why vibrators are just not for fun. They're for medicine because like I said at the beginning, we're bringing more blood to the tissue. We're bringing more nervous system control to the tissue. And when we do that, the tissue begins to heal. A lot of pelvic pain is because of the muscles too tight, the muscles not working correctly, the muscles not being elastic enough where they're not stretching and responding, lack of blood flow to tissue, and this can help restore that. Now, you can see what's cool about this particular vibrator is how bendy it is. So I can bend it in all these different positions. This is what makes this a really unique thing on the market. There's also tons of settings and speeds and a really great how-to guide that they show with their products. But what I love about this is because of how bendy it is and all the different ways you can shape this, there is the ability to wake up tissue that may not have been able to be reached as well by some of these other toys, right? These other devices. So this one's really, really amazing for getting into all of those areas of the intravaginal cavity so that you can wake up the tissue, you can get more blood flow, you can help that tissue respond and help the muscles move correctly, get out of pain, right? So this one's really good as well. And the final thing I want to show you today in this is a Kegel trainer. So a lot of people know about Kegels and a lot of people are not doing Kegels correctly or strongly enough or helping their body relax enough because proper pelvic function is about the tissues, the muscles of the pelvis tightening, but it's also about the muscles of the pelvis relaxing. And just like your biceps or your quads, right? If you are just constantly like crunching and crunching and crunching and you never do that relaxing, you never do that undoing, you never do that stretching component of things, your muscle is not going to work as well. So we want to make sure, just like our biceps and our quads, that the muscles of the pelvic floor, some of which go even to the clitoris, are working very well. So how this one works, so essentially this is a remote and this piece is used internally. And when I turn them on, I don't know how well you can see this in the camera, but you can kind of see that's lit up and it's not really showing up in the camera. Oh, there you go. You can kind of see how as I squeeze basically the intra part harder, then the remote lights up. So essentially what you're doing is when this part is intravaginal and you squeeze it, then the remote's going to light up based upon how much you squeeze. So you can make sure that you're actually squeezing hard enough. And here's the other thing. The thing where people get wrong with Kegels is not doing the part that is relaxing and softening of the tissue. So what you can also do is you can see the lights go all the way back down to 0 to make sure you're fully relaxing the muscles, which is important for proper muscle tone. So that is why I like this because it's feedback as to how you're actually doing. And I I think it's one of the best things on the market to get that direct feedback. So those are some places where I would start. There's a lot of different things you'll see on the market. You'll see things that are more like clitoral thumpers, or you'll see things that provide suction, for example. You see a lot of different types of things on the market, but this from a standpoint of the basics around waking up your tissue, around ease of use, around making sure you're getting to all the nooks and crannies of the amazing folds of the vagina. This is a really good solid set for you. So please do subscribe to this channel. It helps me reach other people that want this information. And please do look in the show notes for that lube guide as well. I want to make sure you guys get that. And that's all for now. I'll see you in another video.